All right. Looks like we got a small group today, and that's okay. I am going to go ahead and get going. Good morning. Let me know if you cannot see the pinned URL. As I will be looking at my screen of the presentation, if you can go ahead and speak up when you have a question or you want me to cover something a little bit deeper, please do so, because I won't see, unless it makes a pin noise, I won't see your comment. So here we go. If you want to take about 2 to 3 minutes to go through this quick figure out the name of this animal form that I made. It should go quick, and I do encourage wrong answers just to see how sections work and whatnot. Go ahead. Good morning. Good morning. So don't forget to sign in so that you get paid. And then also we are working on the quick form that I made in number 3 here. The slides address is pinned. Please let me know if you don't see it. And yeah, so the sign-in link is number 1 on my slides. Do you see the slides pinned? Add it again. There we go. And then you can go ahead and try out the little quick forms quiz that I put there in number 3, figure out the name of this animal. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes for that. Once again, I do encourage wrong answers just so you could see kind of the feedback you can provide when students do choose the incorrect answer. Let me know if anything is not working or if you have any questions so far. We'll do 1 more minute. Oh, cool, music. All right, so if you were able to get through that to the goblin shark, cool. If not, I encourage you to check it out later, but I'm gonna go ahead and get us going. So here's our table of contents. Anytime you see that little cartoon house on a slide, it's going to bring you back to this spot. That way, if you later on down the line are like, man, how did she do that? You can always hit the house, go back to the table of contents, and then hopefully one of these sections is clear enough that you can get back to the idea that you were going for. All of these are linked to the slide in the presentation that goes with it. So we're going to start by adding engaging headers. So the header is the first thing that your responders are going to see, so it should be engaging. It should make them want to like learn more. So with more, no, it was, oh, I forget who it was yesterday, did movie making. And they had a quote that a moving image really sets a tone more than a static image. So I'm going to show you how you can do that in Canva. So if you guys can, oh, I should have put a link to Canva. If you can go and Google and open Canva right now, I can show you how to do this. Or if you're not interested in that, you can just kind of watch mine. But the steps are here. So you would hit design. You would do a search, and all I had to put in was Google, but you're looking for Google Classroom header, because that pixel measurement is going to be the same as the Google Forms header, so we can use it just the same. So I will do that on my screen as well, so you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to go to create a design. And I want to go ahead and do a Google Classroom header. I'm going to click that. And then you don't want to change the dimensions of this, the template. They already have some templates for you. So if you wanted to choose one of those and start from something that's relatively close to what you're looking for, you can go ahead and put that in the bar. So if I wanted to do a math presentation, it'll kind of filter out all the math ones for me. If I wanted to do an art class, I think we have an art teacher in here, you can do that. And then you just don't have to start from scratch. So let's just do this one here. You can do all kinds of animations with this. I'm not a pro in Canva. I will tell you that right off the bat. It is not as self-explanatory to me as some of the other things are, like Google Slides or even Google spreadsheets. But if you click on anything, you can animate it. You can use effects on it. You can move things around. What I do like is that when you do animation with it, it does give you an example of what it will look like. So that's kind of nice. And so you can just pick any of these. What you're going to want to do when you finish this, and please speak up if I am going too fast. When you finish and you have a header that you really like, you're going to go ahead and go to File and Download. But you don't want it as an MP4 video. You do want to save it as a GIF. And then go ahead and hit Download. And it's going to take a hot minute. And what's cool about this, and I have Stephen Elliott to thank for this, is that when you do upload this into your Google form, oh good, we're finished downloading. So I'm going to go back to forms. What's cool about this is that when you do enter it into Google Forms, the style with all the colors match automatically to the colors that are represented in your header. So that's really cool. Once you get to your untitled or your fresh form, you're going to go up here to customize theme. And down here on the right, choose image for your header. You're going to upload. From your computer because we downloaded it. And then I didn't name it, so it's untitled design on mine. And then done. And you'll see that it changed my background colors and everything to kind of go along and match. You can go ahead and change those colors, but I figure if it did the work for me and if it thinks it looks nice, then I'm cool with that. But everything is customizable here in Google Forms. And now you have a moving picture for your header. You could put QR codes in there. You could put all kinds of stuff in there. Does anybody have any questions about making the header?
Are you going to be doing another example of this?
I can.
I just think it's amazing. I'm trying to follow along as much as I can, but it's just well done. Even it's not as fancy. Because you could also put the same header into your Google Classroom too, correct?
Absolutely.
And I see people that have done that. I'm like, how have they done that? So I'm really, really interested in just doing that. But I mean, I can go back and look at it later, but thank you.
Or if you want to join me in this sandbox, we can absolutely work on that together.
Sounds awesome.
And I'm more than happy to show you how to do it in your Google Classroom. Even though we're doing forms, I'm more than happy to show you that to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions about the header? All right, cool. So let me go back to our slides. Let's see, that's the sandbox. That's this one. All right. So in the slides, oh, I see what that was. We have all of the steps listed. So you are totally able to go back and follow these steps, but like I said, in the sandbox, I'm totally willing to help you with whatever you're wanting to create. So there's a lot of icons in forms, and so I have a whole 2 or 3 slides on what do these do. So if you are curious, you can go ahead and just hover over these icons. It generally tells you what the title of it is, but I've also kind of put in a little extra information into these. So it's more than just a title, it's description as well. When you create a question, or when you have your opening, section here for slides, these are what you are looking at on your right-hand menu of icons. So you can add a question, but it'll add it after. After what you have currently highlighted. You can import a question, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can import it from previous forms of yours. You can go to your shared drives and look at what other forms people have used and import questions from there. It's kind of nice sometimes if you're going to be doing something that's fairly repetitive, the same question all the time. I'm thinking specifically about reflection questions at the end of whatever form you've made. That can be helpful for that. You can add the title and description. You can add an image, which is what I was using for the shark sample form that we did at the beginning. You can add a video, but I believe it only allows YouTube videos. You can always save something as a YouTube video as well and then upload it like that. And then you can add sections. And so I will be going over adding sections, I believe, next. Nope, it'll be the next slide after this. So at the top of your screen, at the top right of your screen, you have another full list of icons. And so I wanted to make sure that you were able to see, you know, what these things do. This is Google add-ons. I don't really use those very much, especially in forms. The palette, the art palette, paint palette, was for customizing your theme. We kind of looked at that when we created our header. You can change your styles from there. And that includes fonts, size of the font, the header, of course, the colors for not only the top of the section, but also this is the background here. I wish that the only thing I would really change in forms is just all this blank area that they have here. I really wish they would fix that or allow us to use it in some format because I feel like it's wasted space. The eyeball is allowing you to preview what you've already done. And so it will take you into what it looks like for your responders. So this is telling me that locked mode is on. To avoid losing progress, complete the full quiz before closing. That's really nice for if you are giving kids a quiz in class and you don't want them cheating. It does not allow you to submit with preview mode. So just be aware of that. If you're looking for like, ooh, what happens if I submit and it's wrong? This will not allow you to see that. Let's see, it went back. This is undo and redo. I didn't label those because I feel like those are common enough in our other platforms that you would have already known that. You can copy the responder link from this one, so it's quick. And then you can add collaborators from this one. So you cannot copy the responder link until you publish. I'll go over that in another section. And for this one, this is your collaborator. So this is who can help create this with you. It also shows your privacy controls. So, and then the publish button allows people to respond. So you can choose who can respond to it, which is nice because before when you clicked share, you got a chance to give people the link, but then anybody with the link was able to go ahead and respond to your Google Forms. This kind of tightens those controls a little bit more, and they've called it publish now. So it's the old share button. And then this kebab here allows you to do a lot of other things with it. The most common one that we use, and you've seen it in your sign-in links, is the pre-filled form. And so that allows you to kind of save your responders some time by saying, okay, today is Friday, you're working on signing in for the Friday sessions. And so I'm just going to plug that in for you so you have less to think about. So that's kind of nice. If you want to give the same form to different kids and they can't remember what period they're in, you can go ahead and pre-fill in the form. Hey, this is the session for, or this is the form for period 2. And then you don't have to worry about pranksters putting different period numbers in, and then you have to figure it out later, which I've had done. But those are what your icons do in the top row. Any questions on those? That's this section here. Cool. When you do go ahead and start adding questions to your form, you get a lot of choices. Short answer and paragraph that allow you to do different things with those, which I'll go over in response validation and answer feedback. You get multiple choice, which is just one answer is correct. And you do get to set that if you are making a quiz so that they get points and they can see if they got it right or wrong. Check boxes, more than one answer can be selected. You can also have a drop-down menu. I've used that for periods before so that the kids don't have to try and think, oh, what period? Yeah. You can upload files to it. You can do a linear scale, so like ranking things linearly, but it's based on opinion. You can't like put things in order. Rating, which is nice. That's brand new. I know that a lot of people before were trying to use linear scale for giving things ratings, but now there's this. Multiple choice grid and a checkbox grid. The checkbox grid is more like when you are trying to prove you're a human and not a bot, and it's like, choose all the bridges. That's more of what they're doing in that situation. What's cool is date and time. I have not used those, but I think I might in the future. It gives them a pre-filled date section and then a calendar thing so they can add the date easily. They don't have to think about it or give you weird representations of the date. And then time as well. So if you are collecting things like incident witness statements, they can just automatically put the time in, and it makes it easier that way. When you are in a question, so let me go back to the form and show you that. When you are in a question and you are making it, that's down here. These icons down in the bottom right of a question. So I will often use duplicate questions so I don't have to start from scratch on each question. You can also delete it. You can make sure that it is required so kids cannot skip it. And then the kebab here allows you to set a description, which would be up here at the bottom of your question, or you can set it to go to a section based on the answer. For math, this is kind of cool because I can set it to go to a combining like terms review if they did not get the answer correct. In that review, which I didn't actually finish doing these because it was just an example, but you could set up either review notes that they need to copy into their notebook, or you can set it to a video link that goes over it in maybe an alternate way to the way that you described it in class, trying to figure out a way that makes more sense to each student. And then section 3 would be for the correct answer. moves them on to the next problem, or gives them an extension problem, maybe, so anything like that. And then also you can shuffle the order of their answers from this kebab here. The answer key allows me to put it into quiz mode and then say, okay, for this question, if you get that right, it automatically is going to give you a point. Does anybody have any questions about this so far? Cool. That was a brief introduction to sections. If you had already done the shark one that I did at the beginning, the examples, I used this for that. Go to section whatever based on it. And you basically have a big branching tree at the end. It can get pretty complicated, like a dichotomous key, which is kind of what I was going for with the sharks, but a little more lighthearted. A dichotomous key, we use them a lot in microbiology class, where you're looking at characteristics in an effort to identify something. One of the cool things, sorry, did someone have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. And
Yeah.
maybe you did already go over it. I have a couple of students that just click through when I do sections like that. Is there a time base that you can do? Like they have to be on that question for a minute?
I don't believe that there is a time base.
Okay.
What you could do, so they're just going through and clicking to see what puts them to the next section that is correct.
And just submitting without even going through that. Not saying that I only have like a couple that would do that, but they would. So I get very frustrated sometimes when it comes to like, are you even, trying? So I guess that's more about classroom management than it is a Google form.
What you can do is, I'd have to think about that. Let me think about that, and we can play more with that in the sandbox, because I understand exactly what you're talking about. I might have some ideas, but I'd have to play with it first. Are you able to join for the sandbox?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Are you okay with me moving on and us tackling it there?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So a little bit of what you're talking about, I wish that they had a response validation where there were rules for it, except that multiple choice is so easy to be able to just do click around and guess. With response validation, they have it for the short answer, paragraph, and checkbox question types. So maybe we could do that with the checkbox ones. They have rules that you can set, and there's like so many different combinations of the rules. But for me, this means no more responses of them just putting a period to satisfy the fact that they had to respond, or an IDK, which absolutely kills me. And it can have all kinds of things that you can set. So let me show you here. I'm going to change this to checkboxes. And then I'm going to go to response validation. So they have to select at least, at most, or exactly, however many options there are. You can have them set, I don't know why that says number. Oh, because it's at least however many, or at most however many options, or exactly however many options. So we could do exactly one option. If they did choose two options, that would be what they're looking for in this custom error text. This is more for like short answer. So if we changed it to a short answer text where they were supposed to simplify the expression, they would put in 8x minus 2 or -2 plus 8x would be the correct answer. But I can have them do a text, a number, a length. So the character count I can set, let's see. And so they can do all of these things. There's so many things that you can set up, especially with paragraph as well. If you're looking for them to have a specific character count, if you're wanting them to contain, I'm not sure what pattern is. I think that is a pattern of words that they're looking for. So you're seeing, okay, are you mentioning what I asked you in the prompt? So having answer validations is kind of nice, especially if you're wanting them to kind of expand upon thoughts and whatnot. Any questions about response validation?
Hey, Jen.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that the IDK thing you would put does not contain?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be something I would like absolutely rule out. You can also do that with the character limit, although I think probably the response would be you don't have enough characters in your response, so they may try and get around that with IDE and then hold the K button. I haven't seen that, but I also haven't done this extensively in math class, so I'm not sure how they could get around these things exactly. Any other questions with response validation? Cool. You can also do the response validation with the sections. So like I did with the sharks, the correct answer went on to the next question. The incorrect answer showed you something else. Answer feedback is the same thing. You can do it with sections. I put a link here to a video that really explains, is it a video? Oh no, it was back to the slide, sorry. That explains sections. Somewhere in here, I thought I put something. But in answer feedback, you can use the answer key to add feedback that's customizable for correct and incorrect answers. And so I'm thinking maybe that might be a way that we could do that, avoiding the clicking around. So if I put this back as multiple choice, I lost all my multiple choice answers. So I'm just going to do yes and no. I can set my correct answer, and then I can add answer feedback. So if they pick the incorrect answer, I can enter something, or I can add a link to something, or I can send them straight to a video. And that way, it's the same as sections. It might be a little faster, or it might be a preferable presentation that you would use for your students. I like the fact that it can give you an answer feedback for your correct answers as well. So I feel like we don't really celebrate correct answers as much as we try to fix incorrect answers. Any questions on answer feedback? Cool. I showed yesterday how to do breakout rooms or escape rooms with Google Slides, but you can absolutely do them as well with Google Forms. And quite often, the really good ones that I've seen use them both at the same time. So a link on a hidden item or something like that in the Google Slide escape room would take them to a form, which would then have a puzzle to solve or a question to answer, at which point a right answer would take them to the next clue in the slides and stuff like that. You can get really, really creative with this. You can send kids to different websites for scavenger hunts, specific information that they need to come up with, especially if you're in the introduction part of a unit and you're asking them to kind of learn some of these things on their own before you start getting into lecture about it. And response validation or the answer feedback can help unlock the next clue. So this takes creativity, but if you go through all of the work on making the first one, you should be able to pretty easily copy the form and then make a new escape room with some editing. So you're not starting from scratch each time. Any questions about escape rooms or digital breakout rooms? We can go ahead and look further into this and play with this more in the sandbox if you're interested. Cool. And then publishing, yeah, this has thrown a lot of people off. Publishing really is just the old share. And it allows you to choose who can respond to your form. And then if you click manage, it gets you the rest of the privacy controls like we talked about before. That's it. That's kind of like everything I planned to kind of go and have you practice during the sandbox, but we can also dig a lot deeper in the sandbox. And we can kind of go a little bit platform adjacent with some of the things like we were talking about the Google Classroom headers. I'm happy to go wherever you guys want to go from forms. So if you plan on coming back at 11 for the sandbox, you can go ahead and leave feedback after the sandbox. If you are not able or not interested in the sandbox, I totally understand. Please go ahead and leave your feedback now. That way I have an idea of what worked, what didn't for you. If you were expecting something else, I can kind of adjust if I do this presentation again and make it more relevant for teachers or more inclusive for teachers that don't do math, and totally make it more appropriate for all of the different people that we get into these presentations. So let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for joining me for Google Forms and making them more fun.